Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. Good morning to all the students. Today we will discuss very important current affairs of 8th of Jan 2022. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affairs. So watch this video till last. But I am requesting you all the students that you have to download our application Careers Cloud from the description box link. After that, log in with the email ID, then click on this Crack Current Affairs section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low. But how we are covering this current affair? We are providing you daily section. In the daily, you will see three things. One is detail, second is question and answer format, and third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on daily basis. Next is the weekly section. Again, you will receive three things. One is detail, second is question and answer format, and third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on weekly basis. Most important section is the monthly, and we are providing four type of PDFs. One is detail, second is question and answer format, third is best 100 current affair that is also provided in the form of question and answer, and fourth one is pocket PDF. It means 2-liners and the 3-liners current affair will be provided to you so that you can revise these current affairs in quick format before your exam. But to enhance your performance further, we are providing 20 most important topic-wise PDF. It means if you want to cover one particular topic, then you can use this topic-wise PDF. If you are a banking student, we are providing three things. One is detail, second is question and answer format, and third is the quiz section. But all these three things are only related to banking and economy. And you can attempt this quiz only on our application on monthly basis. If you want to cover all the past current affair of 2021 just from single PDF, then you can use this exam PDF. We are providing detailed budget and economic survey. Expected question and answer will be provided to you so that you can recall that examiner can make these type of questions from budget and economic survey. If you are appearing for your respective state exam, then we are also providing you state current affair, and we are covering every state and union territory. So all these things comes under only one subscription. You have to just download our application Careers Cloud from the description box link. After that, log in with the email ID, then click on this Crack Current Affair section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low. But if you are a new student, you are just starting your preparation, then I am advising you to subscribe for 2 years. And we are providing 10% extra discount on both subscriptions if you use this code ASH10. And if you have any query, you can email us or you can call us on this number or email ID. So let's start 8th of Jan 2022 current affair. But first of all, you have to like this video. You have to share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform, and join our Telegram group from the description box link. Here is the first question in the most important section. Who has won the Scotch Award for 2021 in the governance category? First of all, you have to remember the keyword Scotch Award 2021. This is also known as the silver medal, and it is in the governance category. And one institution, this is known as Forensic Science Laboratory, which is situated in New Delhi. This institution won the Scotch Award 2021 in the governance category. You can see here, Forensic Science Laboratory won the Scotch Award for battling crime against children, and it is for its work towards combating crime and violence against children. And remember, the main theme of this Scotch Award is state of governance. That's why this is very, very important. And the award was presented during the 78th Scotch Summit. Very important. And you have to remember this organization, Forensic Science Laboratory. It is a scientific department and the stakeholder in the criminal trial process that focuses on examination of the cases related to the crime and violence against children due to physical, sexual, financial or emotional suffering. So remember, this organization specially focuses on examination of the cases related to the crime and violence against the children. And this institution won the Scotch Award 2021. But there is one more important category, that is Scotch Literature Award, which was also presented during this ceremony. And remember, this is the 78th ceremony, and 4 books. One book titled as Institutional Change and Power Asymmetry in the Context of Rural India. This book is basically authored by Amar Patnaik. Amar Patnaik. Who is Amar Patnaik? Amar Patnaik is Member of Parliament from Rajya Sabha, and he titled this book. Next book is important, remember, the 10 Flash Points over 20 years. So the name of the book is 10 Flash Points 20 years. And this book is written by very famous personality of Congress, Indian National Congress, Manish Tiwari. Remember, Manish Tiwari, Member of Parliament, currently Member of Lok Sabha, and he authored this book. And the next book is again very important. It is Pandemonium, the Great Indian Banking Tragedy. So during pandemic and during the time period of this COVID-19, so it is the great Indian banking tragedy. And this book is written by Tamal Bandyopadhyay. Tamal Bandyopadhyay, you can say counseling editor, business standard, and the senior advisor of the Jana Small Finance Bank. And he wrote this book named as Pandemonium. Next is the Rising to the China Challenge, Winning Through Strategic Patience and Flexible Policies. This book is not important because this is authored by so many persons. So that's why you can remember that this book is written or authored by leading members of Pune International Center, PIC. So this is not important. Just remember three books. One is Institutional Change and Power Asymmetry in the Context of Rural India. It is written by Amar Patnaik. 10 flashpoints 20 years. This is very important because very famous personality Manish Tiwari is here, and he's currently the member of Lok Sabha in Parliament. And next is Pandemonium, again very important book. This is written by Tamal Bandyopadhyay. All the three books are very, very important. But you can also see here the other categories, like first you can see in the option National Mineral Development Corporation. This organization recently won the Gold Award. Gold Award in the Environmental Sustainability category. Gold Award. Next is National Institute for Open Schooling. This institution won UNESCO Award. What is the, you can say, tagline of this UNESCO Award? It is UNESCO King Sejong Award. UNESCO King Sejong Literacy Prize for 2021. Next is Pratham NGO. This is again very important prize because this NGO won the Indira Gandhi Peace Prize for 2021, which is again very, very important question. Indira Gandhi Peace Prize 2021, and this organization won this prize for its contribution to promoting the scope of education in India. So all the other options are again very, very important. Moving to next question. Who has been appointed as the new Secretary General of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization? The organization itself is very important, and who become new Secretary General? Earlier this position was with Vladimir Narov, so former was Vladimir. Now new become the Zhang Ming. So answer of this question is B, and he belongs to China, and he's very senior diplomat of China. So Zhang Ming succeeded the former diplomat from Uzbekistan. Vladimir Norov belonged to Uzbekistan, and Vladimir Norov completed his time period on 31st of December 2021. And remember, Zhang Ming elected for the time period of 3 years, and he belongs to China, you have to remember, and he is elected for the 3 years. Former was Vladimir Norov, he belongs to Uzbekistan, he retired on 31st of December 2021. And you can remember about Shanghai Cooperation Organization that recently 21st summit of SCO Council of Head of State was held in Dushanbe, in Tajikistan, because 2021 presidentship lies with Tajikistan and 2022 lies with Uzbekistan. So you can see here, veteran Chinese diplomat Zhang Ming takes over as a new Secretary General of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. But you have to remember very important thing about India in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, that for the first time India will assume the presidency of SCO for a period of 2022-23 after the end of Uzbekistan presidency. In November, you can say, or the starting of the December, Uzbekistan presidentship will end and India will become the president of SCO, and it is for the time period of 2022 to 23. So it means India will host SCO summit in 2023. Because in 2022 it will be hosted by Uzbekistan. Again, very important organization. SCO, you have to remember, the creation of SCO was announced in the year of 2001 and entered into force in the year of 2003. And total countries are 6 which started this organization, but India and Pakistan also joined in the year of 2017. The announcement made in 2015, but India became the member, full-time member in 2017. Like Iran recently become a member of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, but formally it will be added in the year of 2023 or 24. So now total countries are 8 who is the member of this Shanghai Cooperation Organization. These countries are like Kazakhstan, you have to remember, China is there, Kyrgyzstan is there, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan and India. These 8 countries are member. Iran will become the full-time member of this organization in the year of 2023 or 2024. So total observer countries are 4. One is Afghanistan, Belarus, Mongolia and Iran. So you have to remember about this organization. But you can also see here the 2 options, very important options. You can see here Naomi Kawas. Naomi Kawas recently become Goodwill Ambassador of UNESCO, Goodwill Ambassador for UNESCO, and it is for the culture and creative industries. Next is Olaf Scholz, very important appointment. He become recently a new German chancellor. After Angela Merkel, he become a new German chancellor. Name is Olaf Scholz. All the appointments are very, very important. So moving to next question. Dr. Jitendra Singh. Dr. Jitendra Singh inaugurated India's first open rock museum at which place? Again, most important question. Why? Because it is open rock museum and it will be established, basically it is inaugurated in Hyderabad. Hyderabad is in Telangana. So examiner can ask exact place, then it is Hyderabad. The state is Telangana. And you can see here, Dr. Jitendra Singh, who is Union Minister of State for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, inaugurated India's first open rock museum. And it is opened at the campus of CSIR, or Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, National Geophysical Research Center, which is situated in Hyderabad, Telangana. And the Rock Museum aims at educating the masses about the several, or you can say lesser known facts about the rocks. And the Open Rock Museum displays around 35 different types of rocks from different parts of India with ages ranging from the 3.3 billion years to around 55 million years of the Earth history. And remember, these different type of rock also represent the deepest part of the Earth, up to 175 kilometer of distance from the surface of Earth. So very important, because this Open Rock Museum displays about 35 different type of rocks. So it will definitely educate the masses about the several, and you can say the lesser known facts about the rocks. So this will be opened in Hyderabad. Very important. So now we are moving to the next section. It is a very important question section. Just like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform, and join our Telegram group from the description box link. But first of all, I want to discuss about our PO mains course, which we recently started. It will definitely enhance your performance, but I will take 40 to 45 seconds so that you can understand what we are providing under this course and how you will improve your performance in the PO exam. As you all know that we have started 25 days free course to crack IBPS PO mains examination, and this course was started on 13th of December and it will end on 14th of January. It means almost for 1 month we have started this course. And remember, this course frequency is from Monday to Friday. We will not upload any quiz on Saturday and Sunday. And in the quiz, we will upload 70 questions daily. Out of 70, 20 questions will be related to reasoning, and 20 questions related to quant, or you can say mathematics, and 30 questions related to general awareness or current and banking awareness. You can see these are the quiz, and course could be attempted at any time. No daily limit is there, but course will be attempted only through application, that is Careers Cloud application. For more details, you can download this application from the description box. Now moving to very important question section. So here is the first question in the very important section. What is the name of Chinese artificial sun which has achieved a continuous high temperature plasma operation? Just remember the question as same as in slide. Answer of this question is East. The name of this artificial sun is East. So you can see here the experimental advanced superconducting tokamak was also known as the Chinese artificial sun. This is known as East. E stands for experimental advanced superconducting tokamak. So it has achieved a continuous high temperature plasma operation for almost 1056 seconds at a stunning 70 million degrees Celsius. So this is huge. So this sets a new record for the longest time of operation of its kind in the world. And remember, this East is located at the Institute of Plasma Physics of the Chinese Academy of Science in Hefei. Hefei is situated in China. So now what is the goal of this East? So goal is to create nuclear fusion like the sun using deuterium abound in the sea to provide a steady stream of clean energy. So this is the main, you can say, goal of this experimental advanced superconducting tokamak. So remember, it is artificial sun and it belongs to China, and the full form of East is very, very important. Moving to next question. Who won 2021 World Rapid Chess Championship? So this is very, very important question, and this is World Rapid Chess Championship of 2021. And answer of this question is Nodirbek Abdusattorov. So answer of this question is A, and he belongs to which country? He belongs to Uzbekistan, and he won the World Rapid Chess Championship of 2021. You can see here Nodirbek Abdusattorov World Rapid Chess Championship, which was held in Warsaw, Poland. So you can see here very important fact about this player. He defeated Ayan, and Ayan belongs to which country? Ayan Nepom belongs to Russia. belongs to Russia in a tie-breaker and dethroning Magnus Carlsen, the current world number 1 champion. And you can also remember 2021 FIDE championship won by the Magnus Carlsen, and Magnus Carlsen, who belongs to Norway, has previously won 2021 World Chess Championship. This is again very important question. World Chess Championship of 2021 won by Magnus Carlsen. But after defeating Ian Nepomuk of Russia in a tiebreaker and the dethroning Magnus Carlsen as a world number 1 player, and now Nodirbek Abdur Satarov becomes the World Rapid Chess Championship winner in 2021. Just remember the question as same as in slide. But this chess championship was organized by International Chess Federation, or you can say FIDE, International Chess Federation. Headquarter is in Lausanne. Lausanne is in which country? Lausanne is in Switzerland. Moving to next question. What is the name of anti-submarine exercise which recently started by India and the 5 other nations? Very important question. And name of this exercise is Sea Dragon 22. So answer of this question is C. So United States Navy announced the beginning of the multilateral anti-submarine warfare exercise, which is known as ASW, anti-submarine warfare exercise, and it is known as Sea Dragon 22 in the Western Pacific Ocean. Western Pacific Ocean. So you can see here India and 5 other nations began anti-submarine exercise with the United States of America, and these 5 countries, you can say Australia, Canada, India, Japan and South Korea. If you include US, then total countries are 6. But other 5 nations are Australia, Canada, India, Japan and South Korea. But you can remember out of these 6 countries, 4 countries belongs to Quad group. So these Quad countries are like India, Japan, you can say, Australia and US. So these Quad countries are 4. And India, Japan, Australia and America, it means the Quad countries are also part of the Malabar exercise. You have to remember this exercise, Malabar exercise. And Sea Dragon 22, this exercise is a US-led exercise that focuses on training and maritime security challenges into the Indo-Pacific region, especially to tackle the Chinese dominance in the Indo-Pacific region. And the exercise includes 270 hours of in-flight training. And in 2021, the Dragon Belt Award was won by the Royal Canadian Force. So you have to remember about this Dragon Belt Award. So under the exercise, the Dragon Belt Award will be presented to the highest point scorer from the several events conducted between the military forces of the participating countries, like the 6 countries. So in 2021, Dragon Belt Award goes to Royal Canadian Air Force. So remember all the details about this Sea Dragon 22. But you can also remember the other exercises here. Like first you can see here Surya Kiran. Surya Kiran is an exercise in between India and Nepal. Next is Samudra Shakti. This is exercise in between the navies of India as well as Indonesia. So India and Indonesia. Next is Equivalent, very famous exercise, is in between India and Maldives. So all the exercises are very important. Moving to next question. Legends League Cricket appointed whom as the ambassador to promote women's empowerment? So all are the very famous women players in the different fields. But first of all, you have to remember about this Legends League Cricket. What is this? So it is a professional cricket league for retired cricketers. Remember, it is for retired cricketers, and this year it will be hosted by Oman. It will be hosted by Oman, and it will be started on 20th of Jan, and it will be hosted by Oman. Now the main question is, who will become the ambassador to promote the women empowerment? Then this is Julan Goswami. So answer of this question is D. So in simple words, you can say that LLC appointed Julan Goswami as an ambassador to all women match official team to promote women's empowerment initiative of the LLC and to increase the participation of women in cricket. You can also see here the picture of Julan Goswami. So LLC set up an all-women match official team for the league. Very important, because the all-women match official team will have the female umpires and the match referees from all across the world. So this is the first of its all-women official team that would officiate an entire men's league. This is very important. So it means all the umpires or the official team have female umpires and the match referees from all across the world. And you can also remember in 2021, Indian film actor Amitabh Bachchan appointed the brand ambassador of this league, and former head coach Ravi Shastri is officiating as the commissioner of this league. But you have to remember the main ambassador is Julan Goswami. Very important. Remember, Legend League Cricket, I already told you it is a league of the retired cricketers, and the inaugural session will be hosted by Oman. The cricket stadium name is also Oman Cricket Stadium in Muscat, Oman, and it will be started on 20th of Jan. But you can also remember the other ambassadors here, which was recently appointed. MC Mary Kom. She was recently appointed as the brand ambassador of TriFed. Brand ambassador of TriFed, Adi Mahautsav. Adi Mahautsav. Next is PV Sindhu. She was recently become the brand ambassador of Disney Baiju. Disney Baiju learning application, early learning application. And along with PV Sindhu, you can say Neeraj Chopra also selected as the brand ambassador of this application. Samriti Mandana, she become the brand ambassador of Equitas Small Finance Bank. So many times she become the brand ambassador of Equitas Small Finance Bank and also become the brand ambassador of GUVI. GUVI is basically, you can say, IIT Madras incubated startup. So Samriti Mandana become the brand ambassador of Equitas and GUVI. So remember all the brand ambassadors. Move to next question. Which state and LNG terminal signed MOU to set up first LNG terminal in the state? Again, very important question because we are talking about one state and this state government is Karnataka. So answer of this question is B. So the government of Karnataka and Singapore-based LNG terminal. Remember, Singapore-based LNG terminal has signed a memorandum of understanding to set up Karnataka's first LNG terminal in the Mangaluru. Exact place is Mangaluru or Mangalore in Karnataka. So the terminal will develop in association with the new Mangaluru Port Trust with an investment of almost 2250 crore rupees. And it is a part of the government of India's plan to strengthen the alternative fuel sector to reach the net zero carbon by 2070. This is the target set by India in the United Nations Framework of Climate Change, which is also known as COP26, recently hosted by country Glasgow, country Scotland, and you can say United Kingdom. So it is a part of the government of India plan to strategic, or you can say strengthen the alternative fuel sector to reach net carbon by the year of 2070. And you have to remember the governor is Thawar Chand Gehlot. Thawar Chand Gehlot. Moving to next question. Which payment bank and Park Plus have collaborated to offer FASTag based smart parking solution? Very important, and this payment bank is Airtel Payment Bank. So answer of this question is D. So Airtel Payment Bank and Park Plus have collaborated to offer FASTag based smart parking solution to the commercial as well as the residential properties across India. And you can see here Airtel Bank and Park Plus partner on the FASTag based parking solution. So the partnership will utilize the reach of Airtel Payment Bank to digitize the parking ecosystem using FASTag associated with the vehicle. So it means Park Plus access control system are installed at more than 1500 societies, over 30 malls and more than 150 corporate parks across the country. But the financial things will be provided by the Airtel Payment Bank. So Park Plus will offer its full suite of the FASTag services including issuance, acquiring, recharge and technology support to the Airtel Payment Bank. But the financial support will be provided by Airtel Payment Bank. So Airtel Payment Bank is among the top 5 issuers of the FASTag in the country, and it offers purchase of the FASTag from the banking section of the Airtel application, which is Thanks application. You have to remember Thanks application also belongs to Airtel Payment Bank, and recently Airtel Payment Bank become the 4th scheduled bank in the payments bank category, and it received a scheduled bank status by the RBI. Other payment banks are like you can say Fino Payment Bank, India Post Payment Bank, and you can also remember about Paytm Payment Bank. So these banks already gets the status of scheduled status, but now this bank, Airtel Payment Bank, also gets the scheduled bank status by the RBI. So remember this, very important. But you can also remember about Airtel Payment Bank, like CEO and Managing Director is Anubrata Biswas. Anubrata Biswas. Moving to next question. India and which country signed an agreement to jointly redevelop the strategic World War II era Trincomalee oil tank complex? If you know where is Trincomalee, then you can answer very easily. Answer of this question is Sri Lanka, because Trincomalee is area in the Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka has signed an agreement with the India to jointly redevelop the strategic World War II era Trincomalee oil tank complex, which is also known as Trinco oil tank farm, in the Sri Lanka Eastern Port District of the Trincomalee for a lease period of time period 50 years. So you can see here Sri Lanka and India Inc. deals to jointly redevelop strategic World War II era Trincomalee oil tank complex. So the 85 tanks out of the 99 tanks will now be under the Sri Lankan control, which was previously under the control of India. And the facility, built by the British during the World War II as a refueling station with 99 storage tanks that has capacity of almost 12,000 kiloliters each. And in 2021, you have to remember the agreement on the oil tank farms renewed, but it was first mentioned in the Indian Sri Lanka Accord of 29th of July 1987, which was signed by then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi and Sri Lankan President J.R. Jayawardene. But remember, recently Sri Lanka declared a food emergency in Sri Lanka, very important, because as a food shortages were worsened by the government ban on the agrochemical imports. That's why there is a food emergency in the Sri Lanka. And recently one exercise was held in between India and Sri Lanka. This is Mitra Shakti. You can also remember this. Mitra Shakti 2021. It is in between India and Sri Lanka. And remember about Sri Lanka. President is Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Gotabaya Rajapaksa. There are two capitals. One is Colombo. It is legislative capital. And second is Shri Jayawardene Pure Kotte. And this is executive as well as the judicial capital of Sri Lanka. And currency is Sri Lankan rupee. So remember all the things about this like Trincomalee oil tank complex, which will be built by India as well as Sri Lanka. Moving to next question. Which state celebrated Losung festival, or you can say Namsung festival? One community is basically renamed this festival, which is known as Namsung, but earlier it was known as Losung. So some communities celebrated this festival with the name of Losung, and some communities celebrated this with the name of Namsung, and this is state of Sikkim. So answer of this question is C. So Losung, or you can say Namsung, is annually celebrated across the Indian state of Sikkim on the 18th day of the 10th month of the Tibetan lunar calendar. Which also marks the beginning of the harvest session in the Sikkim. So you can see here, Sikkim celebrate Losung or Namsung festival. So the festival of Losung continue for the 5 to 7 days, and Losung festival is celebrated as Sonam Losung by the Sikkimese Bhutia community and as Namsung by the Lepcha community of the Sikkim. The festival is also celebrated in two countries, one is Nepal, second is Bhutan. And the highlights of this festival include the Black Hat dance and the Cham dance or the Cham dance. And Losung is one of the most important festivals celebrated in the northeast Indian state, Sikkim. And remember, total northeastern states are 8, like you can see here, M cube, A square, N, T, S. So it stands for Meghalaya, Mizoram, Manipur, Assam is there, Arunachal Pradesh is there, Nagaland, Tripura and Sikkim. But you can also remember about Sikkim. Sikkim's chief minister is Prem Singh Tamang or Tamang, and the governor is Ganga Prasad. Very important mountain of India is there. This is Kanchenjunga mountain. Kanchenjunga, India's highest mountain. Like its height is 8598 meter, Kanchenjunga mountain. Moving to next question. What is a new liquidity coverage ratio on deposits received from non-financial small business customer? This is recently revised by RBI. Earlier it was 5 crore, but now it is 7.5 crore. So answer of this question is D. So Reserve Bank of India has increased the threshold limit of LCR, or you can say liquidity coverage ratio, maintained by the banks on deposits and the other extension of funds received from the non-financial small business customers from rupees 5 crore to 7.5 crore. The new limit is 7.5 crore. So RBI ups the threshold for LCR maintained by the banks on funds received from the non-financial small business customers. The threshold limit will be applicable on all commercial banks other than the regional rural banks, local area banks and the payment banks. So total 4 payments banks get the scheduled bank status. Hence, all the commercial banks should maintain this LCR if they receive deposits and other extension of funds of rupees 7.5 crore and above from the non-financial small business customer. So to better align RBI guidelines with the Basel Committee on the Banking Supervision Standard and enable banks to manage liquidity risk more effectively. So this is done, that's why. So it is based on the revised Basel III guidelines, you can say, or framework on liquidity standard or net stable funding ratio. So just remember, it is according to the guidelines of the Basel III norms, and this is 7.5 crore. Especially very important question for the banking students. Moving to the next question, it is Japan and Australia who signed a defense treaty with the eyes on China. It means it is just to tackle the China, and name of this treaty is Reciprocal Access Agreement. Remember, Reciprocal Access Agreement, and it is to counter China's expansionary military and economic policies. And the treaty was signed between the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in a virtual conference organized by the Japan country. And the treaty, or you can say this reciprocal access agreement, will enhance the interoperability and cooperation between the two countries. So this is the second deal signed between the Japan and Australia after the quadrilateral security dialogue. You have to remember this quad or the quadrilateral security dialogue is the strategic dialogue between India, USA, Japan and Australia. We already covered this question today in the Sea Dragon exercise. And you can also remember the formation of Quad was first initiated by Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in the year of 2007. And you can also remember one group which was recently created, and it is also to tackle the China. This group is known as AUKUS. AUKUS. So the United States, you can say, United States, United Kingdom and Australia had formed a new alliance which is known as AUKUS to handle the security challenges, especially in the Indo-Pacific area, under which Australia will acquire nuclear-powered submarines using US technology, because UK had submarine and the US also had submarines, but Australia have no submarine, nuclear-powered submarine. So that's why Australia will acquire nuclear-powered submarines using the US technology. So you have to remember this Japan and Australia defense treaty name. It is Reciprocal Access Agreement. Next is cabinet approvals, not very important, but you can remember that cabinet approves MOU between India and Turkmenistan on cooperation on the disaster management. Very important, and it is on the cooperation in the disaster management, including preparedness, response and capacity building. So the various areas of cooperation include, you can say, monitoring, forecasting and assessment of emergencies and interaction and appropriate organizations involved in the disaster management. But you have to remember about Turkmenistan, capital is Ashgabat, and currency is Turkmenistani Manat. Next is cabinet approval agreement between India and Spain on the cooperation in the custom matters. Again, very important. It will aid in providing reliable, quick and cost-effective information and intelligence for the prevention and investigation of the custom offences and apprehending of the custom offenders. And it also provides a legal framework for sharing of information between the customs authorities of the two countries like India and Spain. And Spain's capital is Madrid and currency is Euro. Next, cabinet approval between MOU between India and Nepal for construction of a bridge over Mahakali River. So you have to remember about this river, Mahakali River, and the construction of bridge will help the people living in the state of Uttarakhand, because it touches the boundary with Uttarakhand and also in the territory of Nepal. And the bridge will be constructed in the year 3 years. And capital is Kathmandu and currency is Nepalese rupee. So remember these, you can read these, you can say MOUs between India and the other countries, and these MOUs got the approval of cabinet. Now moving to important question section, you have to like this video, you have to share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform and join a Telegram group from the description box link. Here is the question. Ministry of External Affairs inks pact with which company for second phase of the Passport Seva program? For the first phase, they also, you can say, tied up with this company, but now again for the second phase, they tied up with the TCS or Tata Consultancy Services. So Ministry of External Affairs selected Tata Consultancy Service for implementing the second phase of the Passport Seva Kendra, India's largest mission critical e-governance program. So TCS has been involved as a service provider in the Passport Seva Kendra over 10 years, it means in the first phase. And in the second phase, TCS will refresh existing facilities for the system and develop innovative new solutions for the issuance of e-passport. So at present, total 93 Passport Seva Kendras are there, 428 Post Office Passport Seva Kendras are there, POPSKs, 36 passport offices are there across India. So in making total 557 passport offices for the publics are available. So a mobile application M-Passport Seva is also available for the convenience of the citizen. So this second phase will definitely enhance citizen experience with technology like biometrics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, advanced data analytics, chatbot, auto response, natural language processing and the cloud. So in the second phase, TCS will improve this type of the facilities for the public. Next, you have to remember about Ministry of External Affairs. Union Minister is S. Jaishankar, bureaucrat turned politician, and constituency is Gujarat, currently member of Rajya Sabha. Moving to next section, it is our one-liner important points. Here is first point. Maria Elisa Quinteros elected as a new president of the Chilean Constitutional Convention, because the members of the Chilean Constitutional Assembly have elected Maria Elisa as the new president of the assembly, which is tasked to draft a new constitution of the Republic of Chile. Chile is a South American country. And remember the capital of Chile is Santiago, and currency is peso. Next is Chinese artificial sun achieved the continuous high temperature plasma operation, set new record, we already covered, and name of this artificial sun is East. Next, India's T.S. Tirumurthy takes over the chair of United Nations Counter-Terrorism Committee for 2022. Very important question, because India's permanent representative to the United Nations is T.S. Tirumurthy, taken over a chair of the United Nations Counter-Terrorism Committee for 2022, and India will make efforts in strengthening the multilateral response to the counter-terrorism. And remember, United Nations Counter-Terrorism Committee consists of 15 members, which is also the permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. And remember, currently India is a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, and its term ends on 31st of December 2022. Next, IRDAI to set up hub on motor and one hub for the property issuances and set norms for the surety cover. But it is not important, just read this news. Just remember about IRDAI. It was established in 1999. Its headquarters is in Hyderabad, Telangana, and its head is Subhash Chandra Khuntia. Next is Ministry of Food Processing and Industry launched 6 food brands under the One District One Product. Again, not important, you don't have to remember the 6 food brands. Just remember about this ministry. Union Ministry is Pashupati Kumar Paras. Constituency is Hajipur. Hajipur is in Bihar. Next, 75th BIS Foundation Day observed on the 6th of January. BIS, you can see here, this is Bureau of Indian Standards. So, Bureau of Indian Standard Foundation Day commemorates this day on which BIS came into existence as the Indian Standard Institution on 6th of Jan 1947. So, it means it marks the 75th anniversary of BIS. And remember about Bureau of Indian Standard, President is Union Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, it is Piyush Goyal, and Director General is Pramod Kumar Tiwari. So we are moving to the question of the day. What was the question of 7th of Jan 2022? Which of the following banks launched the first talking ATM for the differently abled person? So remember, in 2012, one of the leading public sector bank, which is Union Bank of India. So it is Union Bank of India. So you can see the answer here is B. Union Bank of India unveiled India's first ever truly accessible and talking ATM, and it was established in the Vastarpur. It is in Ahmedabad, you can say, in Gujarat, and it was established, exact date is 6th of June 2012 for the visually as well as physically challenged people. So it is Union Bank in the year of 2012. Now we are moving to the question of the day. The minimum amount that could be transferred using RTGS. So very simple question. So you have to tell me only in the comment box. I am waiting your answer. And please like this video. Please share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. And join a Telegram group and press this bell button so that you can receive the notification on time. And it is a Fairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section, definitely. Don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy like this smiley. Thank you guys. Take care and bye-bye.